What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we are doing a pretty awesome review. Today we're going to be talking about a really cool pistol. We're going to be going over the Laugo Arms Alien, the Creator Series 500. Now this guy is one of 500 of these that have been made, and it is very rare, very awesome. And today we're going to go through it and see if it's right for you and try to figure out just how awesome this thing is. So we have some of the best pistols on the planet to compare it to. Now spoiler alert, this shot very well. If you guys saw the first shots, it was extremely fast and accurate. So we'll talk about the reliability, the accuracy, what comes with the gun, and then we're also going to be comparing it to my favorite gun, which is the Atlas Gunworks Athena here. This is my ported Athena. It's one of a kind as well. I actually have the old Alien that we're going to be comparing it to. Obviously, that seems like an obvious one. And then we're also going to be comparing it to the Shadow 2 Optics Ready. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Alien, you know nothing about it, you're getting into this video right off the bat. Let's talk about it a little bit. So first off, it has a 4.8 inch barrel, which is extremely high quality, as you can see right there. And oh, it's a lot lower than a traditional pistol, and that's really the claim to fame to the Alien. They wanted the lowest bore axis on the planet, and they got it. Any other gun that advertises the lowest bore axis does not have it. This one does. Trust me, I've had the Archon, I've had the Arsenal series. This one has the lowest bore axis. This barrel is so low that it's actually in line with your finger when you point it. It's pretty crazy. And it really does change the recoil impulse of the gun. This has one of the most unique recoil impulses of any firearm I've ever shot, and there's actually a lot that went into it. So as you can see here already, one of the biggest differences is going to be the slide. So first off, most of the slide mass does not go backward like a traditional pistol. Traditional pistol like a 1911, let's say, this guy right here, as you can see the whole slide goes back. Now when that happens, you fire the gun, the round ejects, but it also sticks back for a minute, and that's where you feel your muzzle flip, and then it shoots forward. And if the guns aren't sprung right, sometimes they nosedive as well. So you get more of a rocking motion as opposed to a pushing motion. Now with the Alien series, you really do just get a pushing motion. So when this comes back, it kind of pushes you in your hand and it goes forward, and there's no up or down dip. And when you shoot this gun really fast, the dot really does stay where you want it to stay. And it actually takes a lot of effort to not over muscle the gun, because your whole life you've been training for this particular recoil impulse, which no longer exists. Now the gun itself comes with 3 17-round magazines with new base plates. It obviously looks much different than the standard Alien, and a new grip design as well. Now this has an advertised 4-pound trigger, but I do not believe that's the case. The trigger is very, very light, maybe 2.5, 3 pounds, something like that. It feels just like my 1911s. And then the reset is incredibly fast as well, which we'll get to here in a sec. Having a light slide mass is one thing, having a low bore axis is another thing, but the gun also weighs 42 ounces, soaking up that recoil even more. As I said, it comes with a very nice trigger, comes with a very nice magazine release. We have a beveled magazine well here that works very well to get your magazines in and out when you want them to. And on top of that, if you have a full mag, there's actually a cutout in the slide, so magazines are not nearly as hard to insert as they are in standard guns, because a lot of times when you have a completely full mag, the round pushes on top of the slide and you have to push the magazine spring down to get the gun in which case this gun, you just have to defeat the magazine release. So it's very easy to insert and take it out, and she likes that. The trigger guard is very well done. The grips are interchangeable, and they actually do come with some more in the kit, which we'll show you in a second. And then we have 25 lines per inch checkering on both sides of the grip, allowing you to get into that guy and hold on to it very well for very little recoil that you're going to control anyway, but it is nice to hold on to it. Now it does come with 2 different top rails, and the top rails are pretty interesting because if you pop them off and pop them on, you can actually take them off without having to re-zero the pistol, which is pretty cool. When you take these off, you can either have a red dot or a set of iron sights, so you can interchange the red dot or iron sights. You can have a red dot pistol or an iron sight pistol, and you can pop them on and off without having to re-zero, and that's pretty awesome. You used to have 2 guns for that. Now you can have just the one, and I don't know any other gun on the planet that does that. I also don't know any other gun on the planet that has this low of a barrel either. So if you're looking for either of those 2 features, this is the only place you're going to be able to get it. Now, the nice thing about the optic is that it doesn't reciprocate. So what does that do for you? Well, a lot of people think tracking the dot, but that doesn't matter quite as much. What matters a lot is it doesn't put all that G-force on the dot, which is really nice. You don't have the dot going back and forth, increasing the recoil, and you don't have the dot slamming back and forth, decreasing the durability and the life of the dot. So the small slide mass moving back and forth helps out with both of those things. Now, one big downside to that is if you are used to running any other handgun, you're gonna initially have some training issues. Like if you want to come over the top and try to pull the slide back, you might not grab it correctly and you might grab some of the rail, or if you want to operate it with the optic, it's not going to work at all. If you're so used to doing one-handed manipulations where you're slamming on the optic or you're pushing it on your boot, that's not going to work because the optic doesn't move. Now, the Creator Series comes with a more 1911 style grip angle, whereas the original Alien comes with a more CZ grip angle, as you can see right there, and that allows you to not break your wrist over so much, and that allows it to be a lot more pointable, and in my opinion, a lot more shootable. I actually preferred this version a lot more over my older version. All right, when you get the kit, it does come with 3 17-round magazines, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't come with the old one, and your pistol sits about right there. You actually get the top rail with the iron sights, as I mentioned before. You just pop the post out and you can switch them out pretty easy. Comes with a whole bunch of tools, comes with oil, and it actually comes with a pretty dope holster as well. A lot of times you get like a Canic, it comes with a holster, but it kind of sucks. This is actually a really nice high-end competition holster that you can adjust and everything. And it even comes with a dry fire kit, which is pretty cool because dry fire will certainly make you a better shooter, and it'll make you a better shooter for free. You have different mag wells and you have different grip inserts as well. So if you want to change the back strap or anything like that, you can do that. And most of the time, metal guns are not this adjustable. If you want to look for this adjustability, you have to go polymer. But in this case, this gun is actually just as adjustable as almost any polymer gun I've ever seen. Now, while I have you here looking, we're going to do a little comparison with a 2011. So first off, I'll show you the triggers. You can see the brake there. Very nice. Now, this is the best trigger I own right here, and this is probably the best trigger anybody owns because I've had a lot of 2011s. This is extremely good. Now, it's a little bit lighter and a little bit shorter on the 2011, but you do experience a lot more muzzle flip on the 2011, so be aware of that. The trigger's going to be a little bit better, but the recoil impulse is going to be a little bit better on the Alien. Now I'll show you this is the old Alien here, and you can see there's a little bit of differences between the two. Obviously the grip is going to be the main thing, and mine's covered in white paint because I shot a paint can in the air like an idiot. But the triggers are going to be exactly the same. There's just going to be a little bit more modularity with this, and you're going to get a better grip. And then finally we have the Shadow 2 here, and I'll show you that trigger. This is another one of my favorite guns ever. You can see the Shadow 2 trigger is very, very good, and this is actually an AccuShadow done by CZ Custom as well, so this is not a normal Shadow. All right, now as far as the actual review process, we didn't get a full 1,000 rounds through this because of 2 reasons. 1, I only have this for 2 weeks, and 2, because I have tinnitus. So I actually shot the original first shots and it bothered my ear a lot. So my wife actually shot the remainder of the rounds, plus a couple of our friends as well. We got about 500, 600 through the gun, and it functioned flawlessly with no issues whatsoever. All we did was lube it, and it ran great. We shot it with Blazer brass ammo, if memory serves me, and we shot it with some, what'd you shoot, Federal 115?
Yes.
Yeah, so we shot it with 2 115 grain loads, and they work just fine, and those are cheap, readily available, easy recoil, and this one ran it great, so I imagine it'll run your 147 grain competition ammo very good as well. The accuracy of the gun, I would say, is unparalleled except for the guns I have on the table. Now, the reliability of the Alien is going to be maybe a little bit less than a CZ, but probably about the same as a 2011. You have to remember that these are competition pistols after all, and they do need to be lubed, and they do get dirty because they are a gas system, so they are going to get a little bit more dirty and a little bit hotter than your standard Browning action system. Part of that is just the way the gun is designed, but it does help with the recoil impulse, and that's what they're trying to get to after all. It's kind of cool how the gun actually works. We can't take it apart and show you because of YouTube, but the hammer actually falls from the top, which is pretty neat. The whole gun in and of itself, as I've mentioned in several of my other Alien videos, if you want to watch those, is the most unique operating system I've ever seen in a handgun, and it all comes together to shoot really, really well. As far as speed, that's what this damn thing was made for, and it does an extremely good job. again, if you're gonna get anything as fast as this, you're gonna have to go into this territory. I really believe the 2011 is the only thing that can keep up with this as far as speed goes, and that's gonna be trigger reset. Most of the 2011s you can get these days are the fastest guns in the world, and while this is just as fast, it doesn't completely eliminate recoil, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. A lot of people think you're gonna buy this gun, you're gonna eliminate recoil. You are gonna eliminate muzzle flip, which is pretty sweet. So if I'm on target and I pop one shot off, I don't come up like I used to, I stay on boom, 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 boom. But the reality is that it is pushing back instead of up, and sometimes that can be even a slightly more potent recoil impulse. It just doesn't move your sights off target. So you are gonna have to adjust your grip, and you are gonna have to get used to that recoil impulse. It will take some training is what I'm saying. You can't just buy this like a cheat code and then all of a sudden have no recoil, but you are going to be able to eventually master this and shoot faster than you can with most other guns. Part of that is due to the trigger, part of that is due to the better ergonomics. I actually like the ergonomics on the new one a lot better, but obviously there was an awful lot that went into the barrel design as well, and the barrel is extremely high quality as you would expect on a $7,000 pistol. Now, as far as like competitive options, we kind of talked about this. The 2011 is really the only thing, and then you can get into maybe a custom CZ and get sort of close. I know these are very expensive at the $7,000 mark, and they're certainly not for most people. But if you're looking to get that competitive edge, if you're looking to get that very, very quick reset, that very tight split times, you're looking to shoot a very long distance, or if you just want the new kid on the block, the coolest thing, this is really the only way to go. Now, the technology that is in this, hopefully someday, will trickle its way down to cheaper handguns, and eventually you will see this type of system in cheaper polymer guns, but as of now they don't exist. And since this has been the only gun running this system since 2020, it probably won't exist for a while. So if you really want to get performance like this, there really is two games in town. There's the Alien, and then there's the 2011 from like Atlas Gunworks or SVI or maybe Masterpiece Arms, but all of those are going to be similar prices as this. Sadly, there's no free lunch if you want the fastest gun in the world. I wish I had more time, and I wish I got more trigger time on this gun, because it's certainly one of the coolest guns I've ever shot. Honestly, I may have to sell a few things and pick one of these up at some point. I think it's worth it, and it's incredibly expensive, incredibly rare, incredibly unique, and incredibly high performing pistol that actually lived up to the hype. It's really uncommon when I get guns like this that actually live up to the hype. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.